This is the DX20, one of the more famous rigs of the 1950s that a novice would get. A novice was limited to CW on the HF bands on 40, 20, and 15, and could have 2 meters on foam, but not too many tried that. So this DX20 was pretty popular. This one looks really clean. In my opinion, and we're going to try and see if it operates and see what we get. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to try it on 80 meters. I have an 80 meter crystal in there at about 3740, and there we go. We set it up for about 2 mils of grid current, and we certainly have more than that, but we don't need more than that. So we're going to set it up for about 2 mils of grid current. We take this loading down to 0, and we leave the oscillator where it is because we've set that. And we're going to now put this into the operate position. When you put that into the operate position, it puts screen voltage on the final, which allows it to have a lot more power. And we put this into the plate position, and now we need to dip the final. Dipping the final allows a resonance circuit to have minimum current, and we're going to do that, and there we are. And the glow you see behind you is a dummy light bulb. So that's 80 meters. You probably can't see the power indication, but it says about 90 watts, but that meter reads high. Now we have a 40 meter crystal in, and I'm going to put this in the plate position, in the grid position, and get about 2 to 3 mils of grid current in there. We don't want too much, because you actually get less power if you put in too much grid current. So there we go. Let's peak that up, and there we got to have about 3 mils of grid current, and we're going to put this in the operate position. And if you've been following my teachings, you'll know that adds screen voltage to the final tube. This so we keep down to 0, and we dip the final. Oh, we got to put this over in plate, and we dip the final there, and then this is we just add a little more, and we dip it again, and we add a little more, and we dip it again. And it also says about 90 watts output, but it isn't accurate. But we have about what we should have. Now we will try it on 20 meters, even though a novice wasn't allowed on 20 meters. We're going to have less power output because the Heathkit rigs did have less power output as you went up in frequency. We're going to double the crystal frequency to about 14.3. Okay, now we are on 14.3, thereabouts, 14.318. We doubled the crystal frequency, and we're going to peak the oscillator. We're not going to get nearly as much this time. As you can see, we're only up at 2 mils of grid current, so we're not getting nearly as much. And then we're going to put the screen voltage back in by putting in an operate, put this in plate, and let's see what we get. I'm going to get that down to 0. And we are, let's dip there, we kind of dipped there. We need to increase this a little more, and we dip that a little more, and we increase this a little more, and we increase that a little more, and it's a back and forth. And we're indicating about 60 watts out. Again, that's reading very high, but you can see the dummy load does light up. We'll try it on 15 meters, see what we get. Okay, now we're set up for 15 meters. The crystal frequency is now tripled, and we're a little bit out of the band, but we're using a dummy load. We're at 21,477, a little bit out of the band, so we're certainly not going to get as much efficiency. But let's see let's peak our oscillator up there. Really not getting a whole lot, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot on 15 meters. We'll put this down to 0, put this up to operate, put this over the plate, and that's peaking. We gotta dip that. There we go, there's our dip, and power's starting to come up, and we dip this again, and power comes up, and we dip it again, and power comes up. Okay, not a whole lot of, the meter's indicating about 40 watts out, but I'm guessing that's a little high. When you lower the grid current a little bit, you actually get more power out. So we're going to just raise that up, and there we go. Because you lower it, there we go. There's 15 meters, not too bad. Just a little bit of training there and getting the power up. Let's see what the grid current is now. Oh, it's not too bad. It looks pretty good. Okay, we'll try 10 meters. Not expecting a whole lot on 10 meters, but we'll give it a shot. I'll put this over into the grid position and kind of peek that up. There we go. The grid current's not too bad. And put this over into plate. And we're getting some power out. I'll dip it down here. Let's see, got to be a little careful here. And bring this up. And dip it down again. Only showing about 20 watts up there. I'm going to adjust the oscillator and see if that helps us a little bit. Not a whole lot. Not getting much on 10 meters. And bring that up a little bit more. And I am starting to get a bit of a glow on the final there. And bring that up, down, and up a little more. And we're showing about 80 watts. I'm sure we're not getting 80 watts out, but the bulb is lighting up a little bit. Let's see, I wonder how much more we can get by just kind of fiddling with it a little bit. Yeah, getting a little bit more, but I think we've got too much plate current, so I don't want to melt this little tube here. That's 10 meters, and it's a very nice looking DX20 that you see. You don't see them this clean very often, but I managed to nail one, and maybe you'll be interested in buying one.